Welcome to AllView 360, All Things Real Estate Podcast, with your hosts, Daniel Gutierrez and Shannon Dempsey. We explore real estate from every angle, giving you insights, tools, and confidence to make smart decisions that support your future. It's time for a new perspective on property. Welcome to AllView 360. Hello, Daniel.
Good afternoon, almost.
Shannon and Daniel here recording what will be episode 0. So everything that we're doing about this podcast, AllView 360, All Things Real Estate, and how it came about.
How all of this came about, how I started in real estate, how you started in real estate, how we met a very long time ago, and our friendship over the years.
And perspectives. Where do you want to start? Where do you start if you were to explain this?
I would say start from the beginning of when we met.
When we met, middle school. Neither of us owned houses or had sold real estate.
We lived in houses.
We lived in houses.
Yes.
Pre-housing boom, pre-recession. Yeah. And we were both tall. You were one of the 3 tall boys. I remember this. Then we just stayed friends over the years.
So we grew up in Temecula, middle school in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And then high school together. You were a cheerleader. I was on the football team. You were dating one of my best friends throughout high school. Yeah. And then we graduated high school. You moved down to San Diego. I moved to Eugene, Oregon. We
graduated high school in 2006 when everything was booming.
We were
especially going to go to college, and then we were just going to take off.
Yeah. And we talked about this a little while ago, but we were in college during the crash, and like super opportune time to be in college. But
were you aware?
I mean, I was aware through academics just because I was taking a lot of like finance classes, economics classes, business classes, but I didn't really know or understood what it really meant. It wasn't until I remember coming back to Temecula in 2000, like probably summer or winter of 2008, and starting to see all the for sale and foreclosure signs, chatting with friends. And, they were all losing their ATVs, their trucks, their boats, their RVs, all of that stuff. I remember one guy who had a bunch of sports cars. He worked for like a earth moving company, driving like really big tractors, and the dude was killing it. And when I talked to him, he was like, all of his cars were getting repoed. He hadn't worked in months.
And he hadn't worked in months. And my period of time of when we were in high school from a real estate perspective, and then college was my mom. Remember when my mom got her license and started real estate? I think we were freshmen. Yeah. And so that was during all of the boom. And I remember she just was freaking killing it. She was on the billboard, all of selling so many houses. It was crazy. It was a complete shift in all dynamics. And then went away to college, huge graduation party. I remember they put in a pool for my graduation party.
Yeah, that was a cool pool.
They put in a pool for the graduation party, off to college, and then, started to come back during those years. And it was a lot different. Yeah. Things looked a lot different. The pool's still there. It's been refinished ever since. But everything else from that era to now has changed.
Yeah. And during college, we didn't really keep in contact too much. It wasn't until after college, I think when I moved back to Temecula for a few months right after college before moving to Orange County, we started hanging out again. Mm-hmm. And you were already, you weren't doing real estate yet. You were...
No, we did visit in college because you would come, I didn't visit you in college, but you visited me.
Yeah, but that wasn't very many times.
Towards the end,
compared to now, how often we talk and communicate. Like it wasn't that much back then.
Yeah, it wasn't daily.
But once, you were working for the Chargers?
I was there I did my last semester of school. Then I did a super awesome internship there, and then got hired on for another season there. But I had this kind of weird in between of what am I going to do once I graduate? My mom was like, well, get your real estate license. She paid for it. She said, you can come help me, but we'll figure it out. And so she paid for my courses. It lasts for a full year. And I remember being like, I need to do that. And the day that I looked to see when my coursework expired, it was like that day or something. It was something up until my final certificate of my coursework was at 12:23 a.m. after it expired, and I had to email the people and they still authorized the certificate and everything. But that was how much I procrastinated and wasn't 100% invested at that time, but did that coursework. Yeah. And at that time I was working in the Charger front office and enjoying that, but it was kind of a side idea. And then moved home, started actually doing real estate, and then just never looked back, hit the ground running full time with it. And that was 13 years ago. And you were one of my first clients.
Yeah. I remember I called you. I remember where I was. I was like, well, I was investing in Vegas before I called you to buy in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, yeah,
your
let's
Vegas
do it.
Investments is a whole nother topic.
That was fun, but I want to talk about that. So yeah, you came to, well, I was like, I think the traditional story, I'm like, I know Shannon, I trust Shannon. Shannon does real estate. Let me call her. And then you came and we saw, I think, one house, and I had been looking at a bunch. I gave you a list of all the ones. We went to sushi. We saw the house. And I'm like, let's do it.
You're wrong.
We saw more than one?
No, the one you ended up buying wasn't even one that was on our list that we were seeing.
Oh.
We walked by. Her name was Robin. She's to this day the only agent that's ever issued notice to performs 20 out, like as a common practice, 24 hours. I think about her a lot.
Yeah.
24 hours before the contingency removal, she would just automatically issue a notice to perform. She was very organized.
Yeah. We were in that same community, and we were looking at one that was being foreclosed on. I remember being so awkward because the family was there as we were walking through the house, and they were being foreclosed on.
I ended up having a bunch of mold.
Yeah. And then at the front of the community, there was this house. We're like, oh, we might as well just look. We looked, and we went for it.
Yeah. You still own that property to this day.
Still own it. Still a rental. Still a great investment. I think it's literally doubled in value since I bought it. And yeah, it's awesome.
So that was kind of how we started this chapter of our friendship of more the real estate world, was you purchasing that. Then, but you were not in real estate career-wise. You were just an investor in real estate at that time. And correct. I did not foresee you jumping into the real estate industry the way that you have today. And that would have been 10 years ago. When did you buy Wildwood?
13? No, it was 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
Yeah. So I was working in healthcare doing medical devices, primarily spine and total joint replacements, orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, working with different facilities, medical providers, medical device manufacturers, like all over the place, doing multiple different kind of facets of that space, but loving it in the operating rooms every day, doing a lot of different things. And, that was a booming industry. That was a wonderful industry, like completely recession proof. So coming out of college during the crash, like I wouldn't have even noticed, did super well there and started investing in real estate in Las Vegas. Then eventually made my first purchase in Orange County, like 3-4 years after undergrad. And then that's when we first worked together, as you were my agent. I'd still say one of the most organized transactions I've ever done.
I will say you were way less difficult than I would have guessed.
Than I am now?
Definitely than you are now. But when you were very unbothered by most of the things.
Yeah, I think that still goes. Probably just difficult.
I would not describe you as unbothered in general. I'd describe you as bothered. But in that scenario, you were a great client.
Cool. So yeah, bought that. And then, so my story from there continues in investing. But it wasn't until I was in graduate school, UCLA Anderson, that I kind of got burnt out of healthcare and was doing nights and weekends at UCLA, working 60, 70 hours a week throughout my healthcare companies, and just needed and wanted to change. So that's when I decided to go kind of make that transition. And I think did it fairly quickly, but I remember telling you about it.
No, I remember you saying, Shannon, can you get your broker's license so I can do these things? And I was like, no. Yeah. And then I still don't have it. I have my test scheduled. I keep pushing my test date, a million years later. But yeah, I remember you saying you were going to do it.
Yeah, because I got my real estate license. Oh, I do remember that. I got my real
Mhm.
estate license while in grad school, while working full time.
Mhm.
And I remember we were visiting your house in Escondido, and I'm like, "Hey, you should get your broker's license so I could do these things." And he looked at me like I was crazy. And yeah,
I do regret that. I do regret not getting it at that time. But here we are.
yeah,
That would have been 8 years ago, cuz then there was a good chunk of time that I was down here in San Diego selling real estate, doing my thing. We would kind of bounce ideas off each other when we would hit hiccups, just definitely on our own paths, doing our own types of deals and transactions. You were building Optum at the time, which eventually became AllView.
yeah.
I was building my residential real estate business. But we helped each other a ton during all of that. So I think by the time, because a couple years ago we officially joined, like I came under your brokerage, and we talk all day every day about all things real estate all of the time, so much so that we're now obnoxiously recording it for other people.
Yeah.
um but
But
even
to
that
be
I
very clear, we were
knew.
doing very different things in real estate because
Yeah.
you were doing a ton of transactions, working at great brokerages across San Diego. I was not on the brokerage side. I was more on the investing and property management side.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I still, highly value everything you have to say, all your experience and what you bring to the table. I think it's incredibly important. And you have such great experience and such a unique perspective. And I think to this day, you're still one of the best agents I've ever done a transaction with.
That's so nice to say. And I spent all of those years under great people too. So I feel like I'm always learning, but that was my first 10 years in real estate was just wonderful mentors, wonderful brokerages, all of the fun stuff. This last 2 years at AllView has been a complete different approach, and obviously my favorite. And I think that
Obviously.
obviously, no, my favorite day to day, it's been wonderful, but you were primarily doing property management investment in Orange County. I was doing residential real estate in San Diego. We would refer people back and forth to each other, bounce ideas off of each other, all of that good stuff. And then it was October 2022. I'm assuming you were thinking about growing the brokerage division on a much larger scale at that point.
Yeah.
We were coming off of a really crazy residential real estate year. 2021 was bonkers. 2020 was crazy. And
Hmm.
you were naturally doing a lot of residential transactions with your investors and property owners and all of that good stuff. So it
Yeah.
was the natural next best step for you.
Hmm. And it was always planned.
Yeah.
It was the planned next step. Uh, but as you and I had those conversations, I needed someone with that expertise, that experience, and alignment in what we were doing and what AllView was becoming. And you were the perfect fit, and fortunate enough that it worked out, and we were able to work in the capacity we have and kind of build something super special, super different, and something I'm really proud of and have a lot of fun doing.
As am I. And it's been obviously very fun to do this with you, build out the brokerage division aspect of things. We are in different offices, different zip codes
Yeah,
90% of the time. Um,
99.
99% of the time, yeah, it's actually very rare that we're in the same room, but I feel like we talk enough that it's enough.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, so you're in our San Diego office,
Mhm.
which has much better views and much nicer office. Jealous.
Mhm.
We're in the Newport Beach office, and great office, great location, but busting at the seams a little bit. I think we need to get a bigger one, which awesome, right? Awesome problem to have, and kind of just speaks to everything that we've been doing and working on, and throughout those years have just experienced so many amazing times, difficult times, growing pains, but overall, just I think a lot of excitement and a lot of growth.
A lot of growth and a lot of behind the scenes work. I feel like with the brokerage division, because that's primarily what's happening out of the San Diego office. We do have our fabulous property manager and leasing agent and all of that work out of the office here, but a good chunk of our agents are mainly what's in this office. And it has
Mhm.
been, we recently hit our stride with performance and supporting agents, and a point where I'm incredibly comfortable with what we're bringing to the table and our ability to execute it. It took a long time to get there, or not a long time. It took the right amount of time. And we were not,
Yeah.
we did not put the horse before the cart. What's the phrase?
We might have.
We
Let me
might
ask
have.
you this.
Mm-hmm.
When we originally started talking about this, working together
Mm-hmm.
and having you come on board to help, did you imagine it would be all of this difficult, this many ups and downs, this complex and complicated?
No, but I don't even, we're
Surprise.
very opposite in that way. It felt exciting and I knew it would be good because there's nothing in our lives that you haven't when you commit to something, it's exceptional every single time. And you've proven that over and over again. So I was confident there. What I didn't know or expect, and I still feel the same way, is I don't know what's around the next corner. But what I do know is that we're doing it and we have the team in place and the experience in place to accomplish whatever is around the next corner.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be what it is right now. But I know now what it is right now is only the beginning and it's just going to get bigger.
Yeah.
So that's exciting and scary.
Yeah.
But exciting. I still obviously sell as my primary, residential real estate is my primary focus. I remember you telling me like, oh yeah, come on and help with this stuff. If you're spending more than 10 hours a week, like something's wrong. Like it's not going to be any more than a couple hours a week. And that was a joke.
Yeah.
Super funny
Gotcha.
joke. Gotcha. But I feel like we're productive and I feel one of the benefits, and we kind of had this experience with one of our agents this last weekend, is she presented a problem to us, or not a problem, a situation she was working through. And we both jumped in at the same time, but from completely different perspectives and focuses. So I jumped in on my advice and working with her on how she should communicate and, her due diligence and the way to approach the client. And at the same time, you were jumping in on what the client was probably thinking, experiencing. And she's more like me and the client is more like you. So it was just kind of this perfect moment and mesh of the best way to support someone in an agent. And I think that was something I didn't know how opposite we were until you made me take 47 personality tests and one for each personality. And we are truly so opposite scientifically. All these little graphs prove it. I think we experience it on a daily basis. I've had to mentally learn that when you're saying something, it's not coming from the same way that or it's not meaning to have the same impact as if I were to say those words and all of that. And I think we've learned a lot about each other in these last couple of years. And I'm proud of the way that we've built on all of that, right? Like it's done nothing but strengthen our friendship and our ability to work together. Yeah. And for me now, it's exciting. I'm comfortable with agents at the table and working and walking them through things and being a sounding board. And I'm very excited and confident having you as the next step for when anything, actually goes wrong, or because you jump in and handle that in ways that I never would or could.
Well, it's been also fun too. Like when we started working together, I mean, you were a super successful real estate agent. And I knew I was going to be asking something very different of you than what you were used to. Mm-hmm. And I was excited for that. I don't know if you were, or even if you knew, I was planning that.
Very unclear expectations.
But at the beginning, just like asking you going from, a successful real estate agent on a team, really servicing your clients, to now thinking on a corporate enterprise level of growing an organization and doing things, I think, very differently, very organically, and in a perfectionist kind of way. Mm-hmm. So
definitely not a perfectionist.
I was excited for that. And I also know you well enough to, I think, feel comfortable that you would be excited for that in ways that you didn't expect or want. But look at everything we've been able to do and how we've grown as professionals, as individuals, and kind of, as you mentioned, as friends even. Mm-hmm.
And then how did the podcast come about? Because this was an idea for a while, and in true Daniel fashion, I'm like, I have the mics, let's go. And you literally ignored me. Just ignored. I was like, here's my equipment, ignored. And then one day you just showed up with like full-blown production equipment and everything beyond, right? And so here we are doing this, and it's way more than I would have ever anticipated, way more dialed in. The perfectionist side of you is really making this something that is exciting and great. What, I'm surprised you were on board with it. What was your whole thought process behind it?
Well, I think that's one of the big kind of shifts I've tried to make in my professional career, just as a person, getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things and being comfortable being uncomfortable. I hated being on camera. If you ever look at my social media, it's like non-existent. But I understand it's a very important part of what we're doing. And at the end of the day, like, I want to be able to get our message out. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to provide content for people to learn, grow, and improve from, and ultimately just be helpful. On the flip side, I also very much dislike the influencers who are totally full of shit, provide fake information, wrong information at the detriment of their viewers, to the benefit of their bank accounts.
Yeah.
So whether it's more of a me thing or an altruistic perspective, I want to be able to help people, be able to have people get real information, and be able to get our message out more.
Agreed. And the thing, and we've workshopped this a ton too. So there's been a lot of, different approaches we've taken here and different things that we've tried out. What I'm excited about is the format that we're using, and kind of the plan is to share our personal experiences, what we are going through each week. There's crazy things that happen. Surprised that you were on board with the podcast the way that you were. You're blowing it out of the water with the production aspect. But my goal with it, and it might be different from your goal, but I think we'll accomplish multiple things, is we're having these conversations on a regular basis about crazy things that are happening in real estate, in investing, in the office, just kind of all across the board, industry-wise. You're building a company that's a full ecosystem. I'm obviously focused on the brokerage aspect of things, but it all feeds into each other. And for years, you've been my first call when something crazy happens and we talk about it. So now I'm excited to have those conversations in this format and allow other people to listen in and learn and maybe just laugh. Like, some of the stuff's just completely crazy. So it's more just a conversation between you and I, coming from completely different perspectives, completely different personalities, tons of years of friendship, tons of years of experience, and then extracting the lessons, the stories, just extracting beneficial information from our experiences together. And that's kind of my plan with it, appealing to other people in the industry or people that are interested in things that are happening in the industry. Yeah. What's your plan?
Well, also too, I think there were a few times over the years where, like, man, if only this was recorded, we should put it in a podcast. And then a few times we were also like, we've had to talk about the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. It would be amazing if we just had recorded it and then tell the person to listen to it instead of having to redo it so many times.
Do you remember when you were like coaching me on time blocking years ago?
Yeah.
I still need help, but that was...
And it's hard. But all the books that we've done over the years, even now the book club with AllView, that's been super fun.
Mm-hmm. We're doing Jacqueline and I were talking about it earlier, an agent book club as well. So coming in hot with that. But yeah, all of that. We shared an Audible account a long time ago. It's definitely... either people are going to love it or hate it. And it's not anything that we can, it's going to be what it is, right? Our conversations are our conversations. We are who we are. And I just want to make sure we stay true to that.
And another thing that you and I talked extensively about is, wanting this podcast to be, to hit our target market. But in that, it's like, what is our target market? There's, I think, so many different assets of it that we'll do the best we can to explain what we're going to talk about. And if our viewers want to listen to all of it, some of it, only certain ones, and like, by all means, but hopefully we're just still providing value where people could learn and grow. And even one of the approaches I take when listening to podcasts or books or whatever it might be is not just what they're actually saying, but how they're saying it, what their the perspectives that they're taking when getting to their decisions or through their experiences. I think I learned more about life and the situations by looking at it through that lens than just strictly what's coming out of their mouths.
Yeah. And it's that, and then it's being able to listen to casual conversation and experiences for people that are in the industry. So that's like, if I want to explain something to my husband or a friend that's not in real estate, I have to explain so much to even get to the point of sharing the story that I want to talk about, that it's pointless, right? So it's a conversation. It's a conversation in the car with people that are in the industry with you, that are having similar experiences. It's not regurgitated ChatGPT podcast scripts. It's our stories and our lessons and our experience. And we're going to have guests too. So it's going to be their experience, because we also work with a lot of really cool people and companies, and I'm excited to get them on and share their experiences.
Yeah. But also too, I want to touch a little bit more on kind of the professional component of it all. What we're doing at AllView, all the stuff we've been through, even through these last few years of actually working together at AllView, from you starting, building out the brokerage, the trials and tribulations, implementation of EOS, culture index, all like the Enneagram and other things we looked at, bringing on agents that maybe perhaps we shouldn't have. We're really focusing on learning how to better focus our resources, time, and attention. And I think building a company from the ground up that I think, especially in our society, is it's more and more common for people to want to be entrepreneurs, but I don't know if people fully understand what it takes or how difficult it actually is. So much of it is just people flaunting the perception of how great it is, but they don't really show the downsides of how difficult it is, the valleys, the trials, the tribulations, the lawsuits, the nights of
you should share your
no
aura.
sleep, all of it. It's not fun.
My part's fun.
Yeah.
You should share your aura ring charts, because
I mean, for a long time they were great. The last month it's been just a downward spiral, but I think that's more so a result of having a newborn. And I think but I'm generally really high energy. Nothing stops me. Push through everything. No excuses, and strive for perfection. But eventually, life does happen, and you gotta roll with the punches.
Yep.
But have a positive mindset while doing so certainly helps.
Yeah.
And a huge support system, kind of alluding to our last conversation, our last podcast, like having that support system, having those people to talk to, bounce ideas off of, gain support is huge. I'm part of Entrepreneurs Organization that is an organization full of entrepreneurs and CEOs, and that's been a big value to me. And I think I credit to a lot of my success and survival right now, because it's not easy.
It's not easy. Okay, before we wrap up the explanation of kind of what all this is and who we are, I think it's important. We're talking a lot about it being the real estate industry, and we're in the industry, and we're going to talk about that. But we have a group of topics that we want to stay on, and they kind of align with the AllView ecosystem and the pillars that you have there. Do you want to quickly explain what those are, and so people can know what to expect? Everything's going to be focused on something within these categories.
Yeah, absolutely. So AllView started out I was looking at two companies for inspiration. It would be the Irvine Company and CBRE. I think between those two, they pretty much touch on all aspects of real estate. So I started out AllView as an investment and management company because that's what I was already doing. I ended up firing the property managers I had hired to manage my properties across California and Nevada. I wasn't happy with them. Thought I could do it better myself. Brought property management in-house, and then eventually started offering property management as a third-party service as kind of the first first step and foundation of AllView. AllView being a full-service real estate company. Anything within real estate, especially on the investment side, it needs to be managed, whether you're managing yourself or have someone manage it. So that was the natural first step for me, being the portfolio I had and the experience I had. And then from there, started building out the brokerage because a lot of our clients were wanting to buy and sell, wanted more I think, experience and expertise on how to properly invest and not just buy a property and hope for the best. And nothing against the industry, but I think our industry is so focused on the perception of what they think that real estate investing is, that they don't really actually understand what it takes to underwrite and evaluate a good investment.
And you're crazy with that.
Manner. Well, that's how it should be done. And I think that's more from both my professional experience doing it, but also my education at UCLA, that is a world-class, MBA, but MBA that's known for its rigor, especially when it comes to finance.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, I think, really confident in my abilities there, and was able to take a very sophisticated approach to a little less sophisticated industry, primarily being the smaller real estate investors, 1 unit to 10, not the big institutions that have, teams and teams of people doing this. But anyway, so our goal at AllView is to build a full vertically integrated real estate company and ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So property management, real estate brokerage, both commercial and residential, investment consulting, syndication, and development. So syndication is we're finding the deals, we're raising the money, we're acquiring the assets and running the investment for investors who don't want to do it on their own,
mm-hmm.
or don't have the money to go buy a property, whether it's a single family home or more likely a larger commercial property on their own. They could still have a lot of the upside without any of the work, and a lot less of the liability. And then ground up development is developing sites, developing ground up from dirt to completion, being able to have that full ecosystem in-house to really support our clients, our agents, our team members, and the community. And kind of going back to our motto is enhancing life through all things real estate. And how do we do that? We provide great places to live. We provide people the opportunity to buy their first home, have a great experience. We're able to help people generate wealth through investments, and where they otherwise couldn't. Like, the average person isn't able to go and do a ground up development, but through us, they're able to invest and be able to. So people who can't necessarily do ground up development, but they still have the opportunity to invest through our ground up developments or through our syndications. People who want to transfer or to buy another home and turn their home into a rental so they could create some generational wealth or passive income for their family or their kids, their grandkids, whatever it might be. And then thereafter is providing those ancillary services such as brokerage, or such as title, escrow, construction, all those other things. So where we control the experience that our clients get and ensure that across the board, they're getting the best possible experience, they're getting the most value possible, and that they're able to benefit from everything we're able to deliver to them.
That's a lot. You're doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
My goal is to extract the conversations and lessons from everything you're doing so then we all can learn. And to buy and sell houses, help people do that, and work with agents and keep you in the loop on all the crazy residential real estate stuff.
But also, you're wonderful at connecting with people. You have a completely different approach, and I think are a great leader within our organization as well. People look up to you and they go to you a lot, especially when they don't want to go to me.
You're very nice. Okay, so we need people to subscribe, we need people to listen, and we need people to leave reviews.
And tell us what they want to hear. We're learning a lot about how to get this off the ground. And if you're listening, I'm assuming you know one of us at this point. So help us with that. Leave a review, subscribe, listen to us ramble on. Yeah, and tell us what you want to hear, because we are rolling out all of our recordings. So it's going to be a good time. And I'm excited. Okay, listen to the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of AllView 360, All Things Real Estate. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone navigating their own real estate journey. Connect with us anytime on Instagram at AllView 360 and on LinkedIn at AllView Real Estate. Until next time, stay curious and keep your perspective 360.